So Bernie's first, Mayor Pete second, Klobuchar third. Poor Liz came in fourth, but it was a photo finish.
All evidence is that Elizabeth Warren has finished out of the money. She has finished fourth. She is still at work. Elizabeth Warren, who lives just to the south in the state of New Hampshire, is taking a picture with all who ask.
This isn't lonely to me. This is awesome. I love this.
She's a really good candidate.
Great. She's on her way to becoming a Walmart Santa. And MSNBC, so supportive. They sounded like your buddy after you get dumped, saying, don't worry, there's other fish in the sea, and hands you a can of tuna. But she doesn't just take pictures. No, she'll take your last $3.
Young woman came up by herself, and she said, I'm a broke college student with a lot of student loan debt. And she said, I checked, and I have $6 in the bank. So I just gave $3 to keep you in this fight. That's what we got to do.
That's what we got to do. Take half your money. Typical Democrat, without a thought. Joe came in fifth. So like the time I stained a table with a cheap varnish, it was a disappointing finish. Yeah, that joke is every bit as bad as Joe's campaign. So what did we learn? Authenticity rules, even when you're authentically wrong about everything. Remember, every day, Bernie chooses socialism over capitalism, and polling shows Americans will never vote for a socialist. So Bernie may do more to re-elect Trump than Trump. Speaking of Trump, take a look at these numbers. Calling that a win is like calling the coronavirus the sniffles. Right, Chris?
They just want to be secure in their own economy and their own lives and see their kids once in a while. If that's the case, Trump is going to be tough to beat. So I don't know. I think in either case, I think it's going to be tough to beat Trump. I'm a bit frustrated, and I'm not the answer to all questions. Brian and Rachel, I'm just not tonight. I'm a little frustrated.
Somebody get him a therapy chicken. As for Joe, he said you can't win a general election as a Democrat unless you have overwhelming support from black and brown voters. So what does this mean? Well, it's a knock against Mayor Pete, who the media says has a black voter problem. I suppose if they were white conservative voters, the media would just say they're homophobes. Meanwhile, Trump may get the most black votes for a Republican in a really long time because he's done good for blacks, creating an economy that favors all citizens. So let's ponder this contrast. The Dems say to blacks, you're a victim of the past and we're going to get you damages. But then they don't. Trump says to blacks, you're going to do great right now and I'm going to help you. And he does. Which one sounds best to you? To be victor or victim? The Dems know the answer. No wonder Chris is miserable. So welcome back, Dana and Juan. We missed you. We're only 3 people at this table. Table's very lonely without you two.
I thought it was roomy.
Well, you like it because...
Rusty loved it.
Spread out.
And Juan, I saw an interesting picture of you this morning with the person who I believe is the real winner. There you are in the morning with Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah.
Is there something we should know?
You know, love is in the air. It's Valentine's Day, man. You know, I like to jump on a bandwagon, and she's rolling.
She is.
Yeah.
She is. What do you think? What do you think of the results?
Well, I mean, for someone like Senator Klobuchar, I think you really have to look at the next 2 states. Does she have the infrastructure, the organization on the ground? And I don't think she does. The reason I saw her at Logan Airport this morning in Boston was she was on her way to New York to raise money. And so she's got to get some, money in the pocket in order to do that. To me, a lot of the stuff in the monologue, I was thinking about, one, yes, there's a lot of infighting among the Democrats right now. But again, I think that dynamic shifts once you get a Democratic nominee. And, we had some polling that showed, most people now think Trump will win. And again, I think, yeah, people said that about Hillary Clinton back in 2016. Everybody thought, oh, yeah, Hillary's going to win this. Don't worry about it. To me, you can't extrapolate from an intra-party fight or a tough set of primaries where you have, what I call the roller coaster where Joe Biden looks like he's gone off the rail. We don't know. I mean, we don't know what's to come. I will say he doesn't look good. If my dad used to train boxers and he would say, son, you better get your ass in gear. That guy's whipping your ass right now. So I think that's what's going on with Joe Biden. But he does, unlike Klobuchar, have infrastructure on the ground in South Carolina and even leading establishment Democrat officials in Nevada on his side. I'm thinking Harry Reid, the former Senate Majority Leader.
Jesse, is there hope for Joe?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he's hanging on by his fingertips. I don't think he has what it takes to pull it back together. I hate-watched MSNBC last night. But
Wait. You did not.
I did.
Why?
But after a few minutes, I really started liking it because they can't stand any of their own candidates.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
Did you see the part where they watched the live stream of Joe Biden's from South Carolina and they just absolutely trashed it?
Yes.
I saw that part too.
I saw that, Dana.
They were like, it is so bad.
And that was the best part of the night. They were making fun of the front runner, and they just couldn't hold back. I mean, Mayor Pete had a good night, but you have to ask yourself, is America ready for the first gay president? I mean, I am, because I'm very open-minded.
Oh,
but
so we're told.
I just don't know if the rest of the country is, not to mention millions of Democrats. Bernie Sanders is a radical socialist who honeymooned in Moscow. He can't lead the country. He can't even unite his own party, so he's toast. Biden, as I said, he's running on fumes. Warren's pretty much toast. And then you have Klobuchar, who gave a great speech last night, but she doesn't have the cash to go the distance. And do you actually think AOC and the Bernie bros are going to let mini Mike Bloomberg swoop in with all that cash and wrench away the nomination? No. The Democrats are completely panicking right now. Nancy's ratings are down. CNN's ratings are down. At this point, it looks like the media and the Democrats are creating Trump supporters. Look at that turnout last night in New Hampshire. Broke records. Speaking of which, another stock market record today. Gallup shows Americans are rich, happy, and content with their pocketbook situation. Now the Democrats have to ask themselves, who are we going to lose with? Because they're not going to win. Is it Bernie or bust? And that's why everyone's playing nice, because they know they're going to have to broker it in Milwaukee. So no one wants to say anything mean because they might wind up on the ticket.
Dana, that is some pretty perceptive stuff from
It
Jesse.
was very, very good. I'm
You have
glad
a
to be
theory?
back. I missed everybody very much.
We did too. I
know.
sat in your chair. I love seeing
did?
it. Yes, I did.
Did you feel taller?
No.
I figured that.
I just felt more analytic. and
I feel
sober.
like one.
started liking dogs.
I think that Fox News did an incredible job over the past 2 weeks, all the coverage, and I think that we're covering this Democratic primary very well, very fairly, very interestingly, because we're willing to say some things. And one of those is that you have to realize that in New Hampshire, a lot of the people that said their first choice was Biden, their second choice was not Amy Klobuchar or Mayor Pete. It was Bernie Sanders. So that makes me think that Juan might have a point that, okay, well, if it is Bernie, there's a lot of people willing to get on that bandwagon. But if Mike Bloomberg tries to come in, and if they try, I do not see the Bernie people ever coalescing behind a Michael Bloomberg candidacy. No.
I've never actually seen anybody get on a bandwagon. I've never seen a bandwagon.
Well, we should
do a bandwagon.
Yeah, Katie?
To the Nevada caucuses. We should bandwagon around Nevada.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah,
Very
that
hot.
would be fun.
Yes.
Yes, Fox reporters have been amazing being at the different rallies and the different candidate
I mean, they were
election.
okay.
They were great. They were so great,
Even
especially
Peter Ducey?
standing out. Peter Ducey, Ellison
I thought he
Barber.
let us down.
Everybody is doing an amazing
Great hair.
job. It's interesting to see Amy Klobuchar's rise, and the question is, will this give anybody momentum going into South Carolina? South Carolina voters aren't necessarily going to change their vote based on Iowa or New Hampshire, but donors and people who deal with infrastructure are paying attention. That's why Amy Klobuchar is in New York raising money. I'm sure Mayor Pete is still getting a lot of phone calls asking how people can get, maybe some Biden donors are making those phone calls trying to figure out how they can help them. Where do you need the most money? Do you want to do ad buys? Do you want to do this? How are we going to play the delegate field here? But Bernie Sanders is on a roll. And I think long term, and for the rest of the year in the country, people really need to start thinking about where we are in this moment. Because as AOC said at a Bernie rally last week, decades of activism in the college campuses, going back, are paying off to this moment. And it's absolutely true. And it's not going away because the majority of Bernie's fans are young people. And I doubt that they're just going to change the ideology. So as a country, it's important to point out where we are. And this is different sets of how we run things and go about it. It's not like there are little differences here. These are completely different systems. And I would say Bernie Sanders wasn't honeymooning in the USSR when it was socialist. He was there when it was a communist country. Right. It's still communist today, and he's praised communists in the past. So I think calling him a socialist is actually giving him an easy way out in his policies.
All righty.
It's true.